Hi there, I'm David Tweedie with Ocracoke Alive, and this is the Ocracoke Kitchen Project. In this series, myself and Daphne Bennink of the Back Porch Restaurant are going to take you inside the kitchen and lives of some of the innovative chefs and cooks that live right here on this remote island of Ocracoke. So let's go.
Say amigo.
Say amigo.
How are you?
Doing well, but I'm hungry.
Me too.
I'm hungry. Have you been working already today?
Actually, yes, I came this morning, 5 o'clock, to prep a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Chop vegetables, marinate some meat, fish, ready to go. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Wow. And it all happens right here. This is your new trailer, right?
Yes, it's actually brand new. We are ready for the second season. Thanks to everybody, especially for our customers and the Vivian Howard.
Vivian Howard of A Chef's Life.
Chef's Life, yes. And thank you so much. I appreciate all the donations and your heart. Thank you. Good thing about cooking was for my mom. And actually, some of these days I've been asking her where that beautiful flavors come from. So my mom cooks too. And so, oh, great! I know now.
How old were you when you first realized that you loved cooking?
Actually, 35 years. Yes, when I was, searching, doing other things like work for a Frito-Lay and other companies. I set up my own business as stationary business and working hard things.
And this was in Mexico City?
Mexico City. Yes.
And is that where you grew up in Mexico City?
Yes, and there's some part on some of the states, Hidalgo from my mom's state, and some of those flavors come from that state. I really love that state very much. Yes.
And there's a large community here on Ocracoke from Hidalgo.
From Hidalgo,
area, right?
Yes. From Hidalgo area, yes. It's a lot of tamales around. Yes. Yes.
Very popular at school fundraisers and things like
right
that.
Now Ocracoke loves tamales.
When you think of your childhood and you think of the food that you loved growing up, is there one dish in particular that...
Actually, I will say one fruit, like a vegetable fruit, avocado. You can see the color. Mm-hmm. I was working with my uncle, tried to get avocados, cut the avocados, but I was kind of baby, 5-6 years old. I was asleep under the tree, and he threw me avocados. Wake up! Cut to work, and boom. Yes.
How does the food need to change for the audience here on Ocracoke or here in the United States?
Well, some of the things, we in Mexico, we come from the city. We don't have a beautiful ocean. And I had to add some flavors to this freshest seafood we have right here. I said, nice combination. Let's do our ingredients and bring more shrimp, bring more fish, I never tried the crab meat. When I get here, I just love it. Love the crab meat. Where else to ask, right? Yes.
How long have you been running this stand here on Ocracoke? Because when you first came to Ocracoke, you worked in a number of restaurants, right?
Actually, yes, probably several. The first time when I came here, I was working in construction. Right now the English is still difficult. Try to get words to make sense. And my first year was with Jim O'Brien. It was to do some
carpentry
construction. Mm-hmm. And then some of my cousin, Miss Lulu, asked me, "Hey, do you want to do some work in the afternoon?" Yes, where? At the restaurant, bossing tables. I was cleaning tables, but every time I got to the kitchen,
And what restaurant was that?
Was the back porch. Some of my favorites. Back porch, the good one. Some of my favorites. And the owner, Daphne Bennink, and she always speaks some words in Spanish, even for the French. She would say cocina, for the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he was a Latino guy. Was named Mazaro back there. We talked some words. I mean, and one time he said, "Hey, Eduardo, you wanna interested to us, help us?" I said, yes. Yeah, actually, I was helping them my first day cooking. I was very nervous because I was actually working with two Americans. It was a Jim and Michael.
Michael of now the Flying Melon restaurant, right?
Melon. Yes.
Everybody is all works together.
Yes, and every time I crossed the door, I said, I had to stick with two Americans and work with them. But it was great because I learned a lot. Actually, I told my boss for construction, hey, in my words, and tried to explain him, hey, I had chicken opportunity. I say chicken opportunity. I'll try to say I have a kitchen opportunity, and they start laughing about me. Say, wow, what did you say? Yeah, I have a chicken opportunity. I don't know what.
One of the great things I love about the Ocracoke community is we all live within this area that is just very small.
Small, yes.
And there's no commuting. You don't commute from a area of town in which there are a bunch of folks from your ethnic group. We all learn together. We live together, and we share our cultures. And as the Latino population has grown here on the island, that's something that has really been special to I think a lot of folks that live here as well as visitors.
If you want to speak Spanish, you say taco. The first word is good.
Food is always a language which is universal.
Exactly, yes.
I have to say, Eduardo is an excellent dancer. He's helped out produce some of our Festival Latino, the Ocracoke.
Yes, actually, I was dancing.
Yeah, and he and Desiree Ricker had a great, what style of dance was it?
Was a salsa.
A salsa?
It was a salsa dance.
Yeah.
Salsa.
As well as you did a dance where you dressed up as, you had a puppet head of an old man.
Yeah, it was, we call el baile de los viejitos.
The dance of the old.
Yes. I mean, I would like to dance that again because I'm getting old.
Have you ever wanted to expand from a taco truck to a restaurant, or are the things about just having a taco truck that are simpler and easier? And
it's not that simple and easy. It is actually a hard work. I mean, the main thing is probably give the truth to your customers, and the customers will jump to your place. I mean, no matter if it's a small business, I mean, like a food truck and big restaurants. I can be a big restaurant, but if I don't speak the truth to them, no customers. That's small. We take that one.
You build your relationship and your fans.
Yes.
And then when you need, like when Dorian came through much of the village, Hurricane Dorian in September of 2019, much of the village was flooded, including your truck.
Oh, yes.
And that's what you were saying at the beginning, that those customers really helped you out.
Yes.
And
yeah, we put actually some savings. Not much, but the most things come from them. Yes. Yes.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Come on in.
Thank you. That's it. Hey.
Great to have you back at the Back Porch Kitchen, Eduardo.
Oh, I love this place. I feel like in family.
Just like old times.
Yes, old times.
So let's talk about what we're going to make here together, Eduardo. What have we got?
Well, we want to make enchiladas, traditional dish from Mexico. We love enchiladas, but also we want to use this beautiful local seafood. I mean, scallops.
Yeah.
It's come for nice.
Beautiful Pamlico Sound diver scallops, which are the larger scallops, and they really are absolutely
wonderful. It has
wonderful.
some sugar in it. I mean,
yes, a lot of natural sugars.
Yes.
And with that, so this is the traditional enchiladas, which are going to be, today we're going to be using what we call a salsa verde, which is
which is,
we have the ingredients here, which you can tell us what goes into this sauce.
Yes.
For the sake of time, we've gone ahead and made the sauce ahead of time, but tell us what goes into this.
Well, I really love the garlic. That's we discussed about my garlic.
Your own little clove of garlic.
Yes, and the jalapeno is important to get some little heat.
A little heat?
Yes, and tomatillos. Tomatillos come this way. Probably you are familiar with this.
Right.
And or cilantro. Oh man, I really love cilantro.
Yes.
And normally onions.
Mm-hmm. So these tomatillos, they look and kind of act like green tomatoes, but they're actually in the family of gooseberries, and they come with these husks that you just kind of peel off. Sometimes they're sticky inside, but they're real easy to work with. And so we make this sauce for a different application at the back porch, and I'll kind of go through it quickly, and you can give me pointers as we go along. But we start by putting the tomatillos and the jalapeno and the garlic in a pot. Cover them with water.
We boil it, yes.
Give it a boil. How long do we boil it for?
There is about, and to get tomatoes, just change the color like a yellow.
Till the color changes, and then they're softening up, but we don't want them to disintegrate.
Just to keep it the green. That's the point. Keep it the green.
Right.
We also boil a little bit, and then
we kind of strain those out. We don't want to dry them out. We don't want to completely strain them, but we want some of that liquid to be clinging to those vegetables. Those go into a food processor or a blender. I mostly use a blender. I'm more familiar with blender, mortar. So it's a fairly liquidy sauce at this point.
We saute a little bit the onion, just a little bit, also just to get a little.
So give us an idea. In this case, we've got 6 tomatillos. Would we use maybe half of this onion?
But probably a quarter.
A quarter of this onion, which we're going to chop.
And
saute with a little bit of oil.
Just.
And that's going to be in a pot, because we're going to then add our pureed cooked tomatillo mixture to the sauteed onions and give those a little bit of a simmer, correct?
Correct, yes, most of the time. And we got a lot of vegetarian and also seafood, pescatarian. We don't use any chicken base or some of those flavors, because
it's a good point.
Yes,
exactly.
Definitely good point.
And even though we're doing a pescatarian dish with the seafood, this salsa verde on its own is a vegan product, so long as we're not using butter in our saute. So we've thrown those pureed tomatillas into a pan with sauteed onion after the onion has softened, and at that point we go back to the blender.
Yes.
And we add what gives us that beautiful pop of fresh green, bright flavor, fresh cilantro. We've got a beautiful bunch here. How much would we be adding for?
Okay, that's a good question. So probably just actually want to cut this. Just
a good fistful.
Like
yeah. Okay.
Yes. And
okay.
Chop it up.
Chop it up, or if you're lazy like me, I throw it right into the blender. Just give it a good.
More flavor, actually. Yes.
A good puree, and of course, I'd imagine that there's like our previous video. We're giving you some quantities, but if you have 8 tomatillos, and if you like it garlicky, you could add an extra clove of garlic.
Yes,
if you don't like spice, you might want to half and seed your jalapeno. Oh, God forbid, but some people may, and you may like more cilantro
I normally
or less
make
cilantro.
like a gringo mayo.
So that is our sauce, which here we have the finished product, and it's actually thickened up a little bit, and it's a delicious sauce, and it can be used for a lot of different things.
Oh yes.
We're going to be putting together our enchiladas. Over here we have what we're going to be using for our garnish. After those enchiladas are prepared and baked, we'll be garnishing them with some sour cream, some queso fresco.
Cilantro, and red or white onions.
Red or white onions. We like red on the garnish because it adds a little color.
Yes, and I really love the radish.
And I love radishes. I love radishes too.
Yes.
So a little sliced radish on
like
top.
A garnish, like a flower.
It gives a garnish, and it gives a little crunch, and it just makes things that much more exciting.
The more important thing about enchiladas or tortillas, we talk about or tortillas, corn.
Yes, we've
It
got
was
corn
used-
tortillas in this application. And enchiladas, I believe, are traditionally made with corn tortillas,
yes,
not
with
flour.
corn, no flour. Yes, and I mean some of my friends, Americans, they like flour tortilla, but
Right.
some people are allergic actually to the gluten.
The gluten, and of course,
Yes, corn,
this
yes.
works for a gluten-free diet.
Oh,
and
100%. Yes, I
so,
mean
Don Pancho, you've
the
had no
safety.
issues with regards to
exactly
people
yeah.
with gluten intolerance, and that is a real issue these days. We have here some grated cheese,
It's the Oaxaca cheese. We try to use some Oaxaca cheese.
Oaxaca cheese, and I've
Oaxaca
seen that
cheese.
in that's a
Yes.
OAX.
Yes, like
And a few other
it's
letters.
very traditional to get to melt it.
It's a real nice melting cheese.
Yes.
It actually has a nice flavor. It's definitely got
flavor, yes.
a little sharper flavor than a Monterey Jack, but a Monterey Jack would work, right?
Yes, yes.
And a lot of times in the stores we're finding this Monterey Jack cheddar combination. That would work too.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
but mostly white. I mean,
Right.
yes, I like it.
All right, so let's get working on putting these tortillas,
Together.
these enchiladas together.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so let's get started on the cooking here, Eduardo. We're going to start with the tortillas. It's sort of a two-tiered process. We're going to start with the tortillas, using a little bit of oil here.
Oil to get soft.
Soften up those tortillas. And there is a little secret element here that you just told me about.
Don't copy my recipes.
No copying, but viewers take note.
All right.
So
So
So we get the pan, right? You want to get it kind of warm ahead of time, right?
yes, yes, and must make it little. I mean, soft, very good, and then.
Okay, then we're
but
gonna
probably pass me
Another
three.
tortilla.
Yes, I want to
Okay.
share with the. I mean, with the.
Okay, get two
with
in
the
there at a
friends.
time.
Yes.
Okay.
And then later, I mean, with another. I like to feel the.
Oh, I see. You want to just
I like
keep
to feel
layering
the
them.
heat, yes.
I follow you. Okay,
I
I'm
really
sorry.
love to feel the heat of them.
Yeah, get them softened up.
Everything, yes, and
So you're kind of layering them back and forth. Now, obviously, you guys can see he's using his hands here.
Yes.
I wouldn't recommend doing that unless it's something that you
But
do a lot
you
and you're
have to-
comfortable with.
you
You
have
could
to
use
feel comfortable,
tongs. You
yes.
could use tongs.
all right. I maybe need a cheese.
Okay, so now we're bringing the cheese, which
Yes.
to me was a surprise because I
Well,
would not be
that's-
adding cheese at
that's
this
the people
point.
like enchiladas.
Right? And again, we've got this wonderful Oaxaca.
Yes, Oaxaca cheese.
Shredded
We
cheese.
roll it off a little bit.
Okay.
There's one roll ready to go. There might be another one. But I need these tortillas just to get soft. They can even.
Yeah, once you get them warmed up, they really
Yes.
soften up and they're easier to work with. And it's okay if a little of that cheese gets in the pan because it just
Exactly.
sort of melds into the. Okay. So meanwhile, we've been warming up another pan for our scallops.
Scallops. You get for my tortillas. I want a little brown before I put it in the oven.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
want to continue cooking those
Yeah, but at this time.
to get a little bit of browning.
Yes, a little bit. Or maybe have a little spatula.
Yep,
which
I'll
would
get
be
that
good.
for you. A little
that's
fish,
perfect.
little
I
fish
love this
spatula,
one.
but
I
it's
love
nice.
this one.
Yep, I
have
use
good
mine.
memories.
I use mine for
Yes.
more than fish. So you want to get a little browning,
little.
and it adds a little crispness also.
Exactly, and the cheese starts to get melty.
Right.
You see some little colors.
You can see that. And as I said, if there's cheese in the pan, it's okay. It'll just stick to the tortillas.
You get more flavor.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, for some reason, people love cheese.
I wonder why.
You can
Cheese
see some
makes
little
everything
brown.
better.
Now we're gonna turn these tortillas into our plate.
Okay, and right here we have a dish that's oven proof. That this is going to go right in. It's a heavy ceramic dish
Yes,
that is
actually,
going to go into the
It's a
oven.
good present for my daughter. I mean, I really love it.
Great.
Yeah,
Those types of gifts are the best.
exactly.
So we're done with our tortillas here, which have been filled with cheese. And we're plating those up. And these are getting plated onto the vessel that's going to be going into the oven.
Yes.
So now,
Turn it this way.
now we go to
feel
our
great
scallops.
right here.
Yep, you're comfortable there, so there we go.
Okay, maybe it's some oil, right?
And what we spoke about earlier, most especially with scallops, was the importance to get a good sear
Yes.
and not overcook those, or they're like little super balls, rubber super balls. So you want to get that nice. They have a high natural sugar content, which will create some caramelization. So we want to get a nice hot pan and a little bit of oil.
No oil, yes.
Now you've seasoned your scallops with a little salt and pepper, I believe.
Actually, I dry a little bit.
Okay.
With a
Paper towel is going to absorb any excess liquid. And another thing to mention here that's important when you go to your seafood market, when you purchase your scallops, you may have noticed some places referring to dry scallops. And now what that, or chemical-free scallops, what that means is that these scallops have not been soaked in a solution which plumps them up.
Yes.
And obviously those are going to be less expensive because that extra weight that you're paying for is actually this liquid chemical solution.
And come out
when you go to cook those, we're talking about getting the sear in. Those non-dry scallops, if you will, are going to leach out all this liquid, and you're not going to be able to get that beautiful sear that we're going to get here.
See it right here.
So
see?
we've got nice, generously seasoned salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper, yes.
We're going to get a little bit of oil in there.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So that together.
And we can see that oil immediately has gone to glisten. I'm going to kind of crank up my heat here.
Yes.
There we go. That's what we want to hear.
Yes.
Nice sizzle. Oh boy.
Yes. Maybe one more.
One more. So even with the dry packed scallop, we do want to use a paper towel, get that excess liquid off. Got some tongs for you. Tongs are really a good thing to use when you're cooking scallops.
Oh,
Typically just give it really kind of one turn so that you've got on the flat side.
I'm really looking for a nice brown.
Let them get that nice sear. It takes a little while, but if your pan's not hot, what's going to happen is if you're letting your pan heat after you add your scallops, by the time they get that sear that we're looking for, the scallops are overcooked, right? What you do not want. Another thing to make note of is if you turn them too quick, they're going to stick.
Yeah.
They're going to be released from the pan once they've cooked. Once you've gotten that nice sear on the outside. If they're sticking, give them a little bit more time.
Exactly. That's a good point. Well, guys, it's coming together.
And it does not take much. The scallops can actually be quite rare on the inside.
Yeah.
And that's going to really give you a beautiful texture and that sweet flavor. Just lovely.
And I love this kind of gold.
Another way too, another little hack, if you will, for those that really like that extra browning is to put a little bit of like a Cajun or a blackening season. Sprinkle just a little bit on each flat side.
This time it's got to be in the best way, because I really love the sugar. I really taste the sugar.
Natural sugar of the scallop, and it comes out in this process.
I mean, all the flavors, of the natural, it feels better than the many seasons. Season is always good.
Absolutely.
But I really love.
Just now, you prefer a naked scallop.
Naked scallop. Yes, that's a
but
good
it's just
point.
interesting to point out that is kind of that is where the term for blackening season came from.
Yes.
It was to season the seafood or whatever it is you're blackening, and that's cooked in a super hot pan, and that seasoning blend kind of hastens that blackening process, if you will.
All right.
So here we've got a beautiful sear here. I think we're probably ready to cut that heat off.
Now,
and those can go back to our pan here. And we're going to be ready to give them a moment to rest so that their juices can reabsorb.
All right.
And we're ready to put our enchiladas together.
Yes. All right. Let's go this way.
Okay, so we're ready to get these put together for the oven. And what's interesting, Eduardo, for me is American girl, enchiladas for me, like I would have taken my tortillas, put the cooked scallops, sprinkle cheese, roll those up. Like I would never have done it the way you just did it. And there's a big difference.
Some people love to put meat in.
Right.
I always just let's do cheese.
Yes, yes.
More
and
interesting.
then
Yes.
and so then you add your extras, if you will,
Yes.
afterwards, and
Yes.
you kind of put it together on top. So let's see. Show me how you do that part.
All right. And
So we're going to give it a nice generous coating, and that also, I guess, is sort of to taste. Some people may like it saucier than others.
yes. And the other tricky thing, I really love cheese, and so just to
Cheese
get
is
some melting.
same thing goes with the cheese.
Yes. And then you get a nice white color when you put all those greens, the reds,
Right,
the protein on top.
And probably kind of careful not to put too much cheese. It's not a pizza, as you said before, right?
Yes.
So just
yeah.
remember, we've got cheese inside, so this is almost kind of more of just for color, for garnish, if you
Yes.
will.
Well, now this go into the oven.
Okay, so this is going to go into the oven.
Oh, it's nice oven.
We've got a nice
Yes.
hot oven here. Okay, so we've been in the oven about, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe. I don't have a broil feature in this oven, so we just really cranked up the temperature. And the goal here is to get that cheese melted and to get things nice and sizzly.
That's the cheese still melting.
And look at that. So you can't
Yes.
hear it really, but the cheese is
It's
melted.
melting.
We got a little bit of sizzle on the plate there.
Yes. Well, we still with the process to bring our enchiladas for our customers, and we're ready for
We're ready to
more cheese.
ready for more cheese.
Yes.
Okay.
Queso fresco. People love queso fresco.
Queso fresco, which comes in, you buy it at
comes-
most supermarkets. It comes in sort of traditionally a round brick.
Round the brick. Yes.
And if you didn't know, you could slice it, but if you just kind of squish it with your fingers, it crumbles
Yes.
like this, which is really nice.
So you got queso fresco and onions.
A little red onion.
Onions, and just grab this way.
I'm trying to be patient, Eduardo, but
Oh,
my
man.
my taste buds are
I know.
calling out to this dish.
I'm gonna scam
So we
it
got a little red mint, finely chopped red onion.
on cilantro.
Our beloved cilantro.
Cilantro. I really love
Okay,
it. I really
love
love
cilantro too.
it. Yes.
I feel bad for those who
Now
Don't.
for sour cream. Normally
Sour
get
cream.
sour cream. Just let's do like nice.
So you like to maybe mix it up to thin it out somewhat. When it's out of the container, sometimes it's
We
going to
put
be
actually some little milk
right.
just
right.
to get
So just to
less-
thin it out and make it a little
Yes.
bit more servable, if you will.
Exactly. Yes. Now or
Now for the pièce de résistance,
The
as they
fiesta.
say at my house.
yes.
We've got our seared scallops that are going to get placed
nice
on top.
and garnish.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
So those get placed on
Yeah,
top
for your menu
of the baked
at the back
enchiladas.
porch. And
And last but not least, we have our beautiful radish.
yes.
And there we are. If it's not too hot, it's still pretty hot, but if we can get a good shot of that dish, not only does it, as I know it does, taste delicious, but it looks delicious. So
looks really-
I am the lucky girl who is going to just make sure, I call this
Scallop.
quality control,
okay.
that this dish is up to par. So
I'm hungry
look at that
too.
beautiful translucence in the scallop, perfectly cooked.
Tell
I'm
me
gonna
if
try to
it's-
get a little
tell
bit
me
of
if it's
everything.
overcooked. I always normally when I cook for you, it's overcooked, Eduardo.
Overcooked scallops. Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Flavors. They cook all together.
You have the tartness of the enchilada, of the tomatilla sauce, the sweetness of the scallop. You really taste that toasted corn in the tortillas that we did in the pan, and then the smoothness of that cheese. It's really, really wonderful.
Tell me if you feel something. It's like a little secret at the end that's very important. It's come from my mom. It's the cumin.
There's a little cumin in the sauce.
Without mentioning it, but
He held off on that. You held off, and I do taste that. There's a
Yes.
little bit of cumin,
Cumin.
but just a hint.
Yes.
Just a hint.
That's come from my mom.
And I noticed that
Yes.
people that I work with, we make salsa verde frequently, whether it be for our own sake or for the restaurant. And everyone has a little different secret
Yes.
ingredient there. So here you go, Eduardo Chavez from Eduardo's beloved taco stand on Ocracoke Island with his signature Pamlico sound scallop enchiladas.
Yes. Traditional recipe.
Traditional enchiladas. I
Yes.
hope you all enjoyed it and that you can make it at home and enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed making them here with you today.
Thank you.